Hi guys, Thomas here, and in this lesson we're going to be looking at Fire and Rain by James Taylor. So when you're ready, grab a guitar and let's get going. Of course, we're going to start with the intro, and that sounds like this. So let's break down what we're doing there. Now, as you can tell, we've got a capo on the 3rd fret, so all the fret numbers that I refer to are going to be in lieu of that. Right, so this, for instance, is 2. It's not 5, it's 2. So where we're starting, on the 4 of the G string and an open A together. And we're sliding that 4 up to 6. Now, the rhythm of the slide's important. It's got a rhythm of its own. From here, now, we're going to try and hold all these notes as much as we can. So we're not playing a note and lifting the finger away. We're holding them. So we do our slide, open A, and the 4 and the G. And now I'm holding this, and actually I've got my index finger on the 5 of the B and G. Okay? So I'm actually, when I'm doing the slide, I'm going to have this shape in position. So I'm actually kind of starting from 4, 3, 3. And then sliding that whole thing up. Then I'm just going E, B, G. That's the first part. Then the second part, we're doing the slide in reverse. So this whole shape then is going back to where it started. So I'm hitting the open E string and then the G string here, sliding down to the 4th or 2 frets. And then doing the same little run down. So going E, B, G, right? And then just before I move away, I'm playing an open D string in preparation of the next chord. So using that open D string, giving me time to jump to a D major chord. And I'm plucking then those 3 strings together, the G, B, E. So the D string's already ringing. And I'm doing this little hammer on, so I'm actually starting without the 2nd finger on, hammering on, and then plucking again without the 2nd finger and hammering on again. You could also, if you want, do like a hammer on, pull off, hammer on. Up to you, really. So it works quite well. And then if I do it, pluck both times. Just different flavor of the same thing there. So from here then, we're jumping to an A chord. Now I only need the top part of an A. I don't need the D string here, which makes the transition a lot easier. So I'm going from this D, keeping my index finger where it is, and then starting with another hammer on the B string open to the 2nd. Whilst I'm doing that, I'm also plucking the open A string together. Okay? Follow this by A string, G string, A string, and that's pretty quick, so it goes. So double thumb there, a little strange to have that kind of note in this style, but there's always something like that in the James Taylor tune where it's one little bit that's a little odd. Okay, so what we've got so far then, from the beginning, okay, from here, we're doing this. So I ended on a G. Sorry, I ended on an A chord. Again, just the top half. I'm doing an A sus4. So I'm bringing my 3rd finger to the 3rd fret on the B. And I'm going A sus4, take that third finger away, so we're back to an A. Pulling off to the open B. Hitting the G string with my index still there. And then plucking G, B, E and hammering back on from the open B. And when I do that, I'm plucking the A string as well, that last hammer on with the open A string. So this whole little part from the A. And a little bit slower. Okay. From here then, we're a little bit longer in the A, we're just doing a little bit of picking. I'm going G string, holding everything where it is, G string, B string, A string. So up to this point. Then we're moving to the top half of an E, so we don't need the A string, we're not playing it, so I'm just not going to fret that string. So instead I've got 2 on the D, 1 on the G. I'm going E and B together. D, G, okay? So E and B together, D, G, then open E, open D. And this is kind of anticipating the chord coming up and setting up the movement nice and easy. And then the last little part is this. So what we got here is half of a G, so just third on the E, third on the B. And I'm going E, D, G, B. And then E, D, E. Bringing my index finger to the second of the high E. So in terms of the beats, this is all 16th notes. So it's 1, 2, and then we've got this. That's just going, holding where everything is. E, B, E, G, E, B, E, G. Okay, so that's the whole intro. Let's run that slowly all together. Make sure you go over this, any part that you need again, because it's a little bit intricate. Oh, try that one again. And that's that little instrumental intro that he's running. So what's going to happen next is the verse, and there's going to be kind of echoes of the same sort of stuff, not quite as intricate. But let's look at the verse now, and that's going to sound like this. And it's that looped. So let's learn it first, then we'll talk a little bit about it. So we're following the same chord sequence, the same chord pattern as that intro, is just less intricate. So we're starting in the same place, but without a slide this time. So now I'm going A, then G on the 6, E, B. All just 8th notes, really simple, 1 and 2 and. Then moving this down 2 frets, just like we did before, and then low E string. And I'm going E strings together, B, G, with a little rhythmic pause, so. Nice and simple. To a D, and that's just D, G, B and E together, G, and then to that same like half A. So I'm starting from the open A, and again, I've got this like half A shape where I'm not playing the D string. And we've got this really light, almost like ghost note on the G string. So A, G, and then open B and E, hammer onto the second of the B, hit the G again, then open B and E again, and then following this with A, open B and E, hammer onto the B again. So this little hammer onto the B is happening quite a lot. And after we do that last hammer on, we're going G, B and E together with the second finger still down, and then G string again. So the first half and the second half. So the second half one more time was open A, B and E, hammer on the second of the G, hit the G string. Sorry, I said hammer on the second of the G, I meant hammer on the second of the B. Hit the G string, hit the B and E, hit the G. So that whole A sequence sounds like this, slow. And then we're moving off to this E again, it's like half E. So it's open E, second of the D, first on the G and the open B together. Then the D again. So you see we've got a pattern where we're kind of starting on the root note and then plucking up 3 notes and then back 1 typically. And then the same thing that we did on the G before. The exact same as the intro, no difference at all. And then we've got to loop it. So that's the verse, that's the loop. So I'll play it as a loop. I'll play it nice and slow. You can see all the parts together. So because he's starting with just the open string, you've got that little bit of time between this G to jump there. So maybe spend a little bit of time working on that if it's a bit tricky, just going from just the very end and the very start of the loop. Now, this is one of those things that playing live, James Taylor is going to throw in lots of little fills, slight differences and variations on it. On the recording, that's what he's doing, but it's one of those things he'd never play it the same way twice, almost never. So I would suggest maybe trying to get that down how it is, and then when it's sitting nicely under your fingers, maybe look at throwing in a couple little fills or little licks, any sort of variation on the rhythm of the hammer-ons as well. You know, you can take some stuff out, you can add some more stuff in, or on this verse in the D where he's just going something really simple, you can maybe make that a little bit more complicated by hammering on. Just as an example, there's no real right or wrong there. It's kind of like a playground for you on your creativity, once you get it down, of course. Okay, so then we got to look at the chorus, and that's going to sound like this. So we've got the same sort of stuff and actually some copy and paste phrases as well. So we're starting from the D and just, again, really simple rhythm. That's just D, G, B and E together. Then G, the same pattern we've seen reoccur. And then to this, so this is like a B minor 7. This is 2 in the A, 2 in the G, and open D. So just 3 strings, and we're going A, and this is the rhythm A, D, G, ba, da, da. A, D, G, open E, D, G. Same rhythm, ba, 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 ba. And then to this A, this is the exact same thing he did in the verse. The exact same copy and paste little fill that he's doing. And we talked about this before, you know, get this down and then see if you can throw in some variations like he was doing with the sus4 thing before it goes into this little descending line. So the options there for you to kind of experiment with, take some things that he's already done in this piece, maybe on different chords, and throw them in, see if you can do it in the shapes that he's doing with these little hammer-ons or these pull-offs, kind of any variation of them really. So the exact same there. And then we got this descending line. So here we've got 3rd in the E, and open B, then open D. And then we've got 2 in the E. I'm doing my thumb, you can do it with a finger if you want. With the 2nd on the G, then open D. And then open E, 2nd of the G, open D, open G, open D. That's that little descending part. And then this strumming chord, A sus2. So this is like an A major, but an open B string. So 2 in the D, 2 in the G. And the rhythm is down, down, up, down, up, down. Down, down, up, down, up, down. So it's a 4-beat rhythm. The first 2 beats, down, down, up, down, up, down. And then the second of the patterns is just constant down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up. Down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up. So together, down, down, up, down, up, down, and then down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up. Do that twice. And because they link into each other, you're essentially going down, down, up, down, up, down, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, down, up, down, up, down. You got to run them right into each other without stopping. And that's the chorus. And again, on the studio version, that's everything he's doing on the chorus. Now live, he's going to experiment, he's going to mess around, improvise a little bit. But studio version, that's what he's doing. And if you know any little licks or improvisational fills you can put in on any of those open chord shapes, you're absolutely free to do so. But he's not doing it that much on the studio version. And then that just leaves us with the outro, which is just that strumming A sus2 chord, just elongated. So we just keep doing that same pattern over and over. Until a fade out. So naturally, if we're trying to find a place to stop, we might go like... We could end on an up, or we could just end on one extra down. I like ending this kind of suspended chord. It's nice to me. Ending it on an up, it's just less obvious. And that's the whole song, guys. So it's actually quite simple for a James Taylor studio version. Normally there's a lot more kind of variation and intricacies in there, but that's what's happening on that studio version. As I say, it's totally open to your interpretation of fills and licks, anything you can put in, or you can look at some live versions of James doing it. You'll see how varied he plays it each time. So that's been it for me, guys. Hopefully this was useful. Bye for now.